My name is Heidi Kuhn. I'm CEO of Roots of Peace. It's an honor to be back here in the heart of Marin County, the birthplace actually of the United Nations in 1945. After World War II, the end of all wars, supposedly, Franklin Delano Roosevelt convened the original delegates of the United Nations. He didn't pick a convention center. He chose the redwood trees of Muir Woods. Why? Because he dubbed those to be the temples of peace. And the nature, the roots of peace coming from this beautiful grove in the heart of Marin County has concentric circles representing each and every year of life. This is where the original delegates gathered on May 19th, 1945. And on June 25th, 1945, the United Nations Charter was signed in San Francisco at the War Memorial Room in the Green Room. So as we have this tremendous history for peace in the San Francisco Bay Area that ripples out to the world, we hope that this day is a call to action for even a new day where we are truly planting the roots of peace on earth with respect to all that grows, in contrast to the planting of a single landmine. I'd now like to introduce my colleague and friend of over a quarter of a century, that at least is some sort of ring on a tree, a redwood tree, I think, John. Yeah. One of the original founders of Autodesk here in San Francisco that has gone on. We've used it in the field for demining with GIS software. And John, you're now taking your passion for technology and applying it towards the youth as the CEO of the New Media Center. Roots of Peace is so delighted to form a formal partnership with you here today. Mm-hmm. And I'd love for you to talk about how we can take these lofty ideas of peace, of world peace, and ground it for the future generation.
Well, it's an honor to be able to work with you, Roots of Peace. I've watched you grow over the years and the work you've done throughout the world. And I think that one of the areas where technology can help, it's always been a good communication tool, and it's always been a tool of this generation who grew up in a digital age. They grew up here using digital media. And what we hope to do with Christian's video is to launch a global network of youth sharing their stories about mines, about how we can stop this, and how they can make a difference in the world. So we're happy to work with Roots of Peace in helping to facilitate that. And by being able to be here at Marin TV as a community public access TV station and be able to use the facility here and to work with the people in the community, that's an important part of starting small and making it global.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So how do you feel, Christian, how do you feel after watching our wonderful friends in Palestine and Israel, speaking with them live today via Skype? How can you change the world?
Well, social media is probably where we're going to go with it, and just being able to go over and talk to them and understand the daily pains that they go through experiencing the landmines will help us to work with them and hopefully start removing them.
So tools such as maybe Facebook, Twitter, engaging your friends, beginning today to put this up on rootsofpeace.org, Roots of Peace Facebook. The students of Palestine created actually Roots of Peace Palestine while you were there, and to my great astonishment, as we heard, 25 million hits have been on this website throughout Palestine during the past month since we were there. So sometimes it takes taking your footsteps to a foreign part of the world. Happened to be the Holy Lands for 48 days and 40 nights. But Christian, you've been so brave in sharing your mom with the world and our whole family. But I do think there is a great return on the investments and getting that message out. What are your ideas, Torin?
Well, I think that everything that you guys do is really great. And like Christian said, if more people were educated on the daily pains that everybody goes through living there in fear of landmines, and if we could like talk to them through social media and learn about it, more people would be interested in helping them and figuring everything out.
Mm-hmm. That's an excellent idea. And John, I think, really can serve as a mentor, really, to all of us, because I'm technically impaired, as you know, to the degree that I have much to learn. But John, your ideas about animation, about Loring, who we just met in your office, who's doing an animation. He's done the work for Raiders of the Lost Ark and Walt Disney animation, but he came to us after seeing the landmine issue, and in the last 3 days has created this beautiful animation for Roots of Peace. Tell us about that.
So what we hope to do is to engage artists, people who make music, make art, animation, to come up with their vision about what can be done here. And they can do it in a way that's disarming, that's not threatening to anyone else, but does communicate a story that crosses across many cultures, many languages, and works very peacefully. But the other part of what we want to do is to take that message back to the social media companies. Right here we have the birthplace of most of the social media companies in the world, and we want to take that message to them and ask them to be partners with Roots of Peace in your campaign, which is Demine, Replant, Rebuild. And I think that together we can make that happen.
Inshallah, as they would say. I think there are just, so many wonderful ideas on the horizon. I really look forward to working with all of you immediately following this meeting, because I think time is of the essence. I think we would be not cognizant of the moment in realizing that 1 year ago, this Saturday, February 11th, is the 1-year anniversary of the Arab Spring, when Christian and I were there in Ramallah in the Arab world, coincidentally, and television sets went on, and Mubarak was brought down, as well as Egypt, and the domino effect that it had throughout Tunisia, Yemen, Syria, Damascus, as we speak today. And I think the power of social media as it was birthed here in the San Francisco Bay Area, Facebook, Twitter, Google, Yahoo, of course, Autodesk, but those tools of technology I think are incubating. Sometimes they can be used to take down a country, and I think with the help of you, it can help bring up a country, because it was so astonishing for me to hear today that the Arabs are gathered as we speak in Bethlehem. It's not Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. This is Bethlehem, where a child was born to parents who would never imagine that a child born in a manger could ever lose a limb to a landmine over 2,000 years later. I think that's the shot to be seen around the world. And I think the fact that these discussions and dialogue are happening in the tools of technology can bring the world back to its senses. Whether we're Catholic, Jewish, or Muslim, we know that when a landmine is removed, with sunlight, water, and a human hand, a seed will grow, as it has for generations. And now it's up to you.
Yep.
So I think with the gift of music and song, I think what we'd like to conclude on are the economics of peace. And Roots of Peace is so honored to have worked since our inception with Bank of Marin. We are 80 million under contract in Afghanistan, working in 28 of the 34 provinces, and have empowered over 1 million Afghan farmers. So if we can take that model in a very tough neighborhood and apply it to the Middle East, then I think our time, talent, and treasure spent here today has been worth the while. So thank you for joining us for the economics of peace as we redefine peace from a lofty word of world peace, but let's ground it with the economics of peace by the removal of a landmine and reclaiming the agricultural value of the land and education for future generations to live in peace. Thank you. I'm Heidi Kuhn, and we will now go to the music of peace and be introducing in a few moments lead singer of Pablo Cruz Band, Dave Jenkins, and his lovely bride, Jamie Kyle.